Are the box office numbers for Madam Web proof that the good people at Sony don't have any solid clairvoyants on their payroll? Honestly, even Cassie probably couldn't have predicted how badly this movie would perform.
Let's try that again.
If you haven't already seen it for yourself, you've probably at least read about how Madam Web crashed and burned in every way imaginable over the weekend. The studio's latest Spider-Man franchise spin-off film hit theaters on Valentine's Day, Against Bob Marley, One Love. Conventional wisdom would tell you that the superhero movie would easily beat the middle-of-the-road music biopic. But nope, that's not what happened. Frankly, it wasn't even close. Madam Web pulled in just $26.2 million across its first 6 days of release, from Wednesday through the Monday President's Day holiday. It made just $15.3 million over the weekend, coming in second to One Love. The biopic pulled in a surprisingly large $28.6 million over the weekend, and $52 million over its first 6 days, including a record-breaking opening day in Jamaica. Paramount gets to celebrate, while Sony is left to pick up the pieces, because it's only going to get worse from here for the company's big comic book adaptation.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry.
The movie now ranks as one of the worst-reviewed Marvel Comics films in history, currently sitting at just 13% on Rotten Tomatoes. That led to terrible word of mouth, and it is expected to fall off a cliff in its second weekend. The odds of Madam Web even matching the $167 million global total posted by Morbius in 2022 are slim. When the hurdle to clear is lower than one of the biggest blockbuster bombs of a given year, things are truly dire. Even Morb himself is stunned by the whole thing.
In certain respects, I've succeeded far beyond anything I could have imagined.
S.J. Clarkson directed Madam Web, which centers on a paramedic played by Dakota Johnson, who becomes clairvoyant after a near-death experience. She has to use her powers to help save several Spider-Women of the future. Sony had very clearly and deliberately planned to use this film to launch several spin-offs and sequels. Whatever plans may have existed will likely have to be abandoned now, and the ripple effects are sure to be felt beyond this movie's isolated corner of the larger Marvel multiverse. As far as comparisons go, the company that this movie finds itself in is unwelcome. It's the first Marvel Comics movie to fail to open at number 1 since 2019's Dark Phoenix, which lost to The Secret Life of Pets 2. Sony had great success with 2018's Venom, which despite poor reviews, earned a whopping $856 million worldwide. Its sequel, 2021's Let There Be Carnage, did similarly well, pulling in $506 million globally in the immediate aftermath of the pandemic theater shutdowns. That's why we're getting Venom 3 later in 2024. But the studio has struggled mightily to make these other Spider-Man character spin-off films work. Morbius and Madam Web are both critical disasters, whose only shot at a future is gaining cult status based on camp value. Luckily, they both carried sub-$100 million budgets, making them cheap relative to most superhero movies. That said, Madam Web still stands to lose a fortune in its theatrical run, based on the early numbers. Kraven the Hunter is due to hit theaters in August 2024, and it will represent perhaps Sony's last chance to save what they're trying to build with the Marvel Comics characters they control. If that R-rated superhero romp fails to deliver the goods at the box office, they may need to scrap this concept of building out franchises based on obscure second-tier characters. At this point, Venom is proving to be the exception rather than the rule.
Well, that is good to know.
Beyond the Spider-Man expanded universe of it all, superheroes have, in general, been struggling mightily at the box office over the last year and change. In 2023, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was the only outright successful live-action comic book movie. Everything else disappointed, with DC having a legendarily bad year between Blue Beetle, The Flash, and Shazam! Fury of the Gods. However, Sony did have a big hit with the animated Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, but that movie has the benefit of being able to use Spider-Man in the title. Who knows, maybe 10 years ago, Sony could have pieced something together, but the way things are going, it seems like it's time to stop this train dead in its tracks and invest in something else. You know what they say about doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.